Hey everyone. Sorry, I'm like way off to the side here. What's going on? How's everyone doing? So I'm gonna have a little conversation here and really quickly about some things. Um well, we're gonna try to make this quick. All right, so let's get started, all right? Let's get started. let's let's get started. Thanks for joining me today. How you doing? I see 365 there. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna have a little bit of a word of the day, words of the day, and then we're gonna jump into some stuff here. So the words of the day. What a day, yeah, is that? It's that. Just words of the. No, I'm just kidding. Hold on. Your words of the day are two, two, and two. And thus we come to a new segment on the channel. English, what the hell? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that that's the name of the news segment or anything. But, like, I mean, what is this? Okay, this is incredibly confusing to anyone. So let's talk a little bit about this. And again, I don't think the top word should exist. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But the bottom two are very useful words. And I just used one of them. So, um, two, two, and two. The top one. The meaning, it is sort of like linking things, where like basically it's just a connection thereof. It doesn't even serve a purpose. I should define the other two first, okay? Because other languages don't even use words like this. It's the sort of thing where we're like through translation, sometimes that's why it seems like somebody that's foreign might simplify something because it doesn't even make any sense. You already said what you needed to say. Why throw a two in there? So if I am gonna go store, I don't say I'm gonna go store. I'm gonna go store because that there's so many words like this. A store, there's another thing, okay? A store, you can also store something. But a store, the noun version, is a place that you go that stores things so that you can buy them. That's why it's called a store. So again, oh my English. So again, um, you don't say I'm going store. This would be the example why in English you don't say that because that store, that example is why because now so that's that because there's just so many times in English we do this. So I'm going to the store. And then there's a the too. Now, the, again, that's completely useless. There's no reason for that whatsoever. The word to, yeah, I could justify that. So, a lot of these words that we use in the English language really don't serve much of a purpose. I'm going store. Well, do you really think I'm gonna say that like that when I'm talking about like storing some items or like what like you get what I'm saying? Like so like the common sensality of that situation obviously would tell you something different. So the word too, again used in that sentence format, um the to go to something, you know um or, you want to do something. So, I want to like this, but I just don't. Okay? I want like this, but I just don't. Again, it doesn't change the meaning of the sentence. I want like this, but I just don't. It just doesn't sound as intelligent to somebody that again knows the proper English. So again, being I want to like this, but I don't. I want to like this. So that's the top one. And that's how it's used. It is literally a filler word. But, it's basically formal speech is basically what it is. Um, you know what somebody's saying without using that. Anyway, below that, now we have an actual example of a word. Okay? And this is too much. Okay? So 200 instead of just 200 is when something is a lot. There's way more than you would normally say is the regular amount. So it's too much. Okay? So that's TOO. That's two. You do not spell it TO in this context. It is TOO. Too much. Too fast. Too furious, like that. Again, this actually technically would be the example of TOO. Except on the box, they cleverly just used the number as because it was the second movie. So like that was the funny little thing they did. So again, this would be TOO. Actually. So TWO. The number 2. The number 2. The second in succession. The runner-up, so to speak. The number 2. The second digit after 1. Remember, 0 does not count as a digit. It is just the placement of nothing. So, TWO2 is the number 2. So, look, I understand that our language to you doesn't seem hard, but it doesn't make any sense. Sometimes. Sometimes. Sometimes it makes great sense. But then other times it's like, what the heck is this? English, what the heck? American English, what the heck? Okay. So, understand that when you're translating and stuff like that, if you're a translator or if you're somebody that might even just be, dealing with somebody that doesn't speak English very well, please be understanding of the fact that this person is not by any means dumb or anything like that. Oh yeah, super chat, yeah. Okay, so you're blocked. Because remember, we don't super chat and you're doxing somebody's name on purpose. So, anyway, before that interruption, very obvious interference to disrupt my train of thought and yours, by the way. The CIA and NSA are under the current Trump irresponsible administration. So just remind yourself the illegal things that are actually happening to people, you know. But again, the point is that if you're dealing with somebody that might not understand English fully, they're not stupid. We're stupid. We overcomplicate everything. We're dumb. Americans. Okay? This is why I've doubled down on calling folks dumb and stuff. You can't take offense to this. You need to double down on, well, why am I dumb? I want to not be dumb. I don't want to be dumb either. I am dumb. We are all so dumb in this country. We elected Donald fucking orange face jackass Trump. This happened. This guy has caused yet another war in Iran. This guy has caused another war in Iran. A needless, senseless war. He's dividing people. Okay. The CIA is right out of this guy's pocket, and he's already a convicted felon on like 42 accounts, I think it is. And he's the first one in office. I want to remind you that the CIA, NSA is right out of this freaking criminal's pocket. All he's going to do is use that to hide everything he's doing to spy on anybody that speaks about him. He's trying to cancel David Pakman. This guy's a YouTuber. He wrote a book. Quite frankly, teetering on genius IQ, I think. And so of course he's gonna put him on the White House website and try to smear him. Oh, and you know, I mentioned already that everything he's done is literally just to undo anything Obama did that was good. So that way you don't remember, you know, like you don't have a point of comparison and contrast. And then anything he can't take credit for, he's already tried to take credit for all these things that Obama did. We sat here and talked about that. So, you know, remind yourself of how many times, you know, we see these botted likes on the stream that come off midstream. You know, like all these times where we see all these views come in here and then come off. Thousands. You know, again, it's not just these guys, it's pretty much everybody. The guy is literally using technology that is supposed to be to protect us, and he's using it irresponsibly. Clearly, this is what he's doing. Merging companies just so that award-winning people have to stop doing their show. Not because the fans want them to, because again, they're winning awards and at the top of their game, but you know, because the rich convicted felon president said so. So, we mentioned Brian Tyler Cohen. Also, by the way, his response was brilliant to Trump. I couldn't believe what he actually said. Because this guy is classically, he's a class act. He interviewed Obama, for Christ's sake. He's a class act. This guy is phenomenal. Great coverage. Great interviewer. And he obviously showed up on the White House thing. Obviously. And his response was fucking brilliant. Just look it up. You don't need me to tell you what it is. Oh, but it was brilliant, because this is where you should realize everybody else is where I'm at with how I'm acting towards Trump and anybody that supports him. Okay? And that's it. It's not at anybody else. It's at these clowns that are clearly in here disrupting what I'm doing. And you know, slowly but surely, you see, you know, other people kind of, again, you know, not taking it to the degree where it's everything that he says, but in that moment, in that response, yeah, yeah, because anybody feels this way. You're taking away actual free speech. You're trying to, just because you don't want people to know what a slimy, disgusting, filthy pig you are. And you're the one calling reporters piggy. You're the one calling them piggy, and you're the one smearing fucking orange foundation on your face every ounce and every second of every day that you're alive. Listen, man, people do this for interviews and shit. They don't walk around normally with just orange makeup all over their face. It's not normal. This is not a normal individual. Like, I mean, like, seriously, like, even I feel like even in, like, if somebody was dealing with a disorderly person or something and they're investigating, even an officer, I feel like in some parameter would recognize if the person was like a certain way, they would start being like noticing other things and be like, well, what's the shit all over your face? What's that for? They might just ask because it's not normal. People don't just normally wear shit all over their fucking face. Okay. So again, while not not illegal or anything like that, it's still abnormal. That's all. So like my point is, we already know plenty about this guy of what he's trying to, you know what I mean? Like uh um Epstein was literally um in apparently like the guy on the inside of Trump's CIA. And that's why he's hiding this, because the first time around, he probably had Epstein as a CIA agent so he could get away with all this illegal shit abroad for the island and everything. That's probably what he did. And now, as it comes around, he gets him out of jail, replaces it with somebody else or something like that, or has him killed. And either way, when you investigate that, anybody that looks into the details of that, 100%. The only thing you need to look at is why in the absolute fuck was the body taken to a hospital? He was dead for like 4 to 6 hours and they took him to the ER from a prison. Nope, nope, no, absolutely no. And no, and absolutely no scenario is that not a crime scene. There's a crime scene, and then like the cops. Imagine if there's a crime scene. There's like, well, guys, we better take these dead bodies over onto the ER. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between cold case and all right. It's not really what cold case means, but some people mean it that way. It's not really what it means though. It actually just means it went dry. They couldn't figure it out. That's all. It's actually what it means. Um anyway, I'm going to get into something here, but again, I really cannot believe Anybody looking at that actual information doesn't go, what the hell? He was taken to the hospital? Why? And even the ER doctor and nurse and everybody at the hospital went, why was he brought here? Where is his tattoo? Epstein had a tattoo. There's no tattoo. I don't want any part of this. What the fuck did you just do? Get this, whoever this is, out of here. That's how it looked. It literally looked like that. I swear to God. This is what we're talking about. Where it's like, God, I swear to God, it really feels like Donald Trump really just murdered this guy or made him disappear. And I can't even talk about it. Like, you imagine being that doctor? For Christ's sake, man. There are just some basic things. Why was he taken to the ER? The crime scene. Why is there like 2 hours of missing security footage where Dan Bongino himself is blowing the whistle now, too? He's flipped. He can't stand this shit. Good on you, sir. And they submitted it with doctored footage. And remember, even he himself was like, well, we're going to not doctor it. He said that. And then they submitted it completely edited. Like, you just literally look at it, and it was done with cheap editing software where there's several hours just missing. And I swear to God, even I called out the fact that there were all these people in and out of his cell, very secure cell. And again, this cell is a giant room where they have trash cans being changed all the time. Are you kidding me? Trash cans. Do you have any idea that this is exactly how the CIA does what they do? God. There's always a trash system. There's always a plumber. There's always a fucking guy. This is how these things work. The security guard fell asleep. And I swear to God, there was somebody like a security guard that walked through there conveniently slightly before the footage, disappeared into the cell, proceeded never to show up again. Then that was when it was edited, and I swear to God he was holding a black bag. Why the fuck would a person be allowed into a jail holding a black bag? You can't even be allowed in there holding any bag that isn't completely clear. Let alone a black bag, and he's got, like, gloves on? I'm pretty sure they were black. Christ, man. Talk about the most dollar store murder scene I've ever seen. And all I gotta do is watch some Sherlock Holmes to know that. Listen, guys. We didn't accomplish technology by accomplishing technology. We accomplished it by dreaming. Star Trek, Star Wars, things that pressed our concepts of what we already know. And we went, you know what? Let's try that. So what? Let's just try it anyway. Okay? And you think that it stops there? No. What? No. Like, the concept of Sherlock Holmes, this guy, think about it, obviously is completely ridiculous. The concept of the man, again, somebody like that existing, they would have to be a psychopath. That's why I like the most recent BBC adaptation with Benedict Cumberbatch. Brilliant. But, and Martin Freeman. Brilliant Watson. But, like, again, you have to understand that people can learn these concepts and be inspired by this. It doesn't change the fact, oh, like, you can't get that from that. Yes, you can. Why? If it's good, if it's solid and it has solid grounding, why? You can. And I want to really call out the fact that again, we're talking more about Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, a genius author, much like Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek, the genius. Okay? This is what culture gives us. It is invaluable. Like, you cannot put a value to this. This is why humans, culture, and allowing free thought and opinions are so important. Because this is how you get this stuff. Through dreaming, through saying, yes, I can. When the asshole from the previous generation said, no, you can't. Now, I remember, I'll move on, but I want to tell you really quickly. I remember distinctly in my life there being a very conniving douche that once told me something very discouraging, and I want to assure you, what you need to remember is exactly what they said in Back to the Future, and this is what I said to that person that made them very discouraging. If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. And I truly believe that. I truly believe it. And the very discouraging douche put this down and said, that's completely horseshit. Can't accomplish anything. So prove them wrong. Do anything. And that was always the drive, at least I had, because again, my movie when I was younger was Back to the Future. Just on end, man. And so Doc Brown, Emmett Brown, he was I was obsessed with the flux capacitor and stuff like that. Um so like stuff like that was really cool. And then yeah, research the people he was obsessed with and stuff like that. And so, obviously some of these people I ended up finding out more about stars and things like that. But um then later on, obviously Quantum Leap, you guys know that's my favorite show, period. So I started watching that, and Star Trek The Next Generation as it was on, sort of reruns and stuff as I was younger. Because it was sort of um almost coming off the air as I was getting to the age where I could understand it. So it was sort of more like Star Trek Generations was more of how when I was getting into the Next Generation. Um, so I very much grew up with seeing, the two crews, merging and Shatner being on that movie and stuff. And like again, because Kirk was in that. And so like that was why I loved Generations. That was why I loved that one. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't realize that it started with the retirement of the previous crew in that story, and they get stuck. They like changed the story a little bit, and it ticked some people off, but I really liked it. And what you have to realize about time is we've actually figured this out, is that when that happens, it doesn't mean that that original Star Trek crew didn't still do what they did. They did. It's just a different branch in time now. This creates a different reality now. So it has nothing to do with what the original Kirk and the crew did. They're still in their time, happily living whatever happy ending they got. Scotty's not trapped in something in the next generation and stuff like that. I assure you, because that happened in the next generation. They trapped him. That creates a branch and an alternate reality where now that is completely separate from the reality that originally existed. Does that make sense? So basically, the way the universe that we think it works is, at any given time, there are, all these different dimensions and possible, in infinite, incalculable amounts of universes on top of each other, which is also why a lot of it doesn't make any sense. It's sort of chaos, and stuff can just blip out and blip in. So it actually sort of makes sense. Sort of does, sort of doesn't. And that is how life works at pretty much all the time. So, I would lean into that. That makes a lot of sense to me. So let's get into, some other stuff. This is very science oriented right off the bat, but you guys know I love that. So started with that a little bit. Okay. So hold on. All right, so we are going to talk a little bit about this. Can you give me a breakdown of how the US immigration system works? Please include details about sanctuary cities and how they have to go through a huge process of testing and denouncing their original country to become citizens. Now, again, it's going to correct my wording there. So my wording is not technically correct there. So it's going to correct that. But here's the answer here.
I'll ground this in current official sources and separate what's required by law from common myths or political terminology. Here's a practical breakdown of how the US immigration system works, with special attention to sanctuary cities and the citizenship process. Number 1. The basic structure. Non-citizen status categories. The US system separates people into several broad categories. US citizens. Citizens can live and work in the US permanently, vote in federal elections, get a US passport, petition for certain relatives, and generally cannot be deported. Lawful permanent residents, or green card holders. Green card holders can live and work permanently in the US, but they are not citizens. They can still be deported for certain crimes or immigration violations.
Right.
Many people become citizens later through naturalization. Temporary visa holders. These include students, tourists, temporary workers, diplomats, exchange visitors, and others. Their permission to stay is limited by visa type and status rules. Humanitarian statuses. These include refugees, asylees, people with temporary protected status, victims of certain crimes or trafficking, and others. Refugee asylum status is for people who meet legal definitions of persecution or fear of persecution. Undocumented immigrants. This includes people who entered without inspection and people who entered legally but overstayed or violated visa conditions. Their options to become legal residents vary greatly depending on family ties, employment eligibility, asylum claims, criminal history, prior immigration violations, and whether Congress has created a specific path.
Correct.
And option 2, how people usually get a green card. Most green cards come through one of these routes. Family-based immigration. US citizens and green card holders can petition for qualifying relatives. Immediate relatives of US citizens, such as spouses, unmarried minor children, and parents of adult US citizens. have a more direct category.
Yep.
USCIS describes immediate relatives as eligible to become lawful permanent residents based on that family relationship.
Yep.
Employment-based immigration. Some people
Illegal.
qualify through job offers, extraordinary ability, advanced degrees, investment, or other employment categories. Humanitarian protection.
That one.
Refugees
That one's
and
big.
asylees can generally apply for a green card after meeting eligibility rules.
Mm-hmm.
Diversity visa lottery. A limited number of people from countries with lower recent immigration to the US may qualify through the lottery.
Right.
There are two main procedural paths to a green card: adjustment of status, which is applying from inside the US,
Right.
and consular processing, which is applying through a US consulate abroad. USCIS defines adjustment of status as the process for applying
that's
for lawful
true.
permanent residence from inside the
Can
United
do it at
States,
a
while
U.S.
consular
consulate.
processing is generally used by people outside the US or those not eligible to adjust status. Now 3. Naturalization, becoming a US citizen. A green card holder usually has to wait before applying for citizenship. The most common rule is 5
Trump
years
probably
as a
doesn't even know what a
lawful
consulate
permanent
is.
resident, or 3 years for many spouses of US citizens, assuming other requirements are met. To naturalize, applicants generally must show that they have been lawful permanent residents for the required
Well, he probably
period,
doesn't. I mean,
have lived continuously in the US, meet physical presence requirements, are at least 18,
he
can
probably
read,
watched
write,
The
and
Born
speak
Identity, and
basic
he's like, "What
English
the
unless
fuck is that?"
exempt, pass a civics test unless exempt, show good moral character, support the US Constitution,
Red bag,
and
red
take
bag.
the oath of allegiance.
Stop right
USA.gov
there.
summarizes the major requirements as being at least 18, able to
Great
read,
scene.
write, speak basic English depending
Great.
on age, and of good moral character, among other eligibility rules. The huge testing process. There is testing, but it is not usually like school exams spread over months. The main test has 2 parts. English test, speaking, reading, and writing basic English. Civics test, questions about US history and government. USCIS says an officer administers the naturalization test to determine whether the applicant meets the English and civics requirements. There are exceptions and accommodations, especially for some older applicants, people with long-term permanent residence, and people
There you
with
go.
qualifying disabilities.
Yep.
Good moral character. Applicants also must prove good moral character.
So
This
much
can
they gotta
involve
do.
reviewing criminal records,
This is what people don't
taxes,
realize.
child support, honesty during the application, immigration history, and other conduct. USCIS states that a naturalization applicant must show that they have been and continue to be a person of good moral character.
There it is.
4. Do immigrants have to denounce
Now you know
their
what they're trying to
original
do.
country? Not exactly. To become a US citizen, applicants take the oath of allegiance, which includes language about renouncing allegiance to foreign states
And that's what I
and
meant.
supporting and defending the US Constitution.
But that's the
That is a
correction.
legal oath of allegiance to the United States. It is not usually a public denunciation of the person's birth
Which-
country, culture, family,
which-
or heritage.
Good. That's very
USCIS
nice.
also
that they do
requires
that.
applicants to show attachment to the principles of the US Constitution. Also, the US does not always force a person to give up another citizenship in practice. Some countries automatically
That's
revoke
true.
citizens when a person
That's
naturalizes
true.
elsewhere,
And that's
while
why
others
that.
allow dual
Okay.
citizenship.
And that makes sense.
So the US oath
with that
contains
being explained there
renunciation
like that.
language, but whether someone
that-
actually
that's
loses their
interesting.
original citizenship often depends on the other country's law. Number 5. What
True.
sanctuary cities are? Sanctuary city is not one single legal status. It is a political and policy term used for cities, counties, or states that limit how much local agencies cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. Common sanctuary-type policies may include: local police do not ask about immigration status during ordinary stops. Local jails do not hold someone extra time solely because ICE requests it, unless there is a warrant or legal authority. City workers are restricted from sharing certain information beyond what federal law requires. And local resources are not used to help with federal civil immigration enforcement. ICE detainers are
That one.
central to this debate. ICE describes an immigration detainer as a request to a federal, state, or local law enforcement agency after that agency has already taken a person into custody.
It's so expensive to
The
do
key
that.
word is request. Many sanctuary jurisdictions say they will not keep someone in jail past their normal release time, based
I
only
like
on a
that.
civil detainer, especially because of constitutional liability concerns.
Request.
Sanctuary policies do not make a city immune from federal immigration law. ICE
That's
can
true.
still operate in sanctuary cities.
That's true.
Federal immigration law is still federal law.
And that's true.
What sanctuary policies usually do is limit whether local police and city agencies voluntarily assist with enforcement.
There it is.
The federal government has taken a hostile view
Which
of
is what I
sanctuary
meant when I
jurisdictions under the current administration.
Summarized
The
it
Department
for
of
you
Justice
by saying
described sanctuary
it's just easier to
jurisdictions
say
in
that's how they track
2025
them better.
as places with public
They put 'em
declarations
there
or formal
because they
policies
can
that
track
limit
'em better.
local
It's
law
better for
enforcement
everybody.
cooperation with ICE. Advocacy groups describe sanctuary policies differently, as local rules limiting involvement in federal
It's true,
immigration
though.
enforcement, sometimes while still allowing cooperation in specific circumstances. So the debate is partly legal and partly political. Supporters
gonna
argue
get to
sanctuary
why.
policies encourage immigrant communities to report crimes and cooperate with local police. Opponents argue they obstruct immigration enforcement and can endanger public safety.
Yeah.
Number 6. Important distinction. Immigration enforcement versus criminal law.
Okay, now
Being
pay attention.
undocumented is usually a civil immigration violation, not automatically a criminal conviction. But some immigration-related acts, such as illegal re-entry after deportation, document fraud, or certain smuggling offences, can be criminal. Separately, non-citizens convicted of certain crimes may face deportation consequences even if they have green cards. That distinction matters because local police primarily enforce state and local criminal law, while ICE and other federal agencies enforce federal immigration law. The big picture. The US immigration system is a layered process. First, a person needs a legal basis to enter or stay. Then they may need a visa, status approval, or humanitarian protection. Some people can later apply for a green card. After years as a green card holder, they may apply for citizenship. Citizenship requires paperwork, background checks, an interview, English and civics testing, good moral character review, and the oath of allegiance. So yes, becoming a citizen is a major process. But it is more accurate to say applicants must swear allegiance to the United States and renounce conflicting foreign allegiance in the oath. Not that they must denounce their original country in a personal or public sense.
All right, so let's comment on this, okay? I'm going to comment on the argument, all right? The endless back and forth, left and right argument. Are you ready? But you said it. You just said it right there. If the debate is that one side sees the sanctuary policies as a way to encourage immigrant communities to report crimes, then that there diminishes the logic of the other side saying that obstructing them from kicking them out is endangering public safety, because they are creating a system that would actually make it safer.
You're making a valid logical challenge. The public safety argument is not one-sided. I'll separate the two claims because they often talk past each other. Community trust versus custody transfer enforcement. Yes, that is a strong argument for sanctuary policies, and it's one reason many police chiefs, mayors, immigrant rights groups, and civil liberties lawyers support them. The logic is, open quote, if undocumented people believe that contacting police could get them, their relatives or witnesses deported, they may avoid reporting crimes. That makes victims less safe, lets abusers and criminals operate with less fear of being reported, and can make investigations harder.
Exactly.
Close quote. That is the community trust public safety argument. It is not just emotional, it has a practical law enforcement basis. Several studies have found no clear evidence that sanctuary policies increase crime, and some research questions the claim that they prevent ICE from taking custody of people convicted of crimes. For example, a 2022 study in International Migration Review found that sanctuary policies did not hinder ICE's ability to obtain custody of convicted criminals. The American Immigration Council also summarizes multiple studies finding sanctuary policies have no measurable effect on crime rates. So I agree with the core of what you're saying. The sanctuary cities endanger public safety argument is weakened if the policy improves crime reporting and cooperation with local police. The opposing side's argument is a little different, though. They are usually not saying immigrants reporting crimes is bad. They are saying, open quote, When a local jail has already arrested someone and ICE asks to take custody, the city should cooperate, especially if that person has a serious criminal record. Close quote.
That
is
I
the
would agree
custody
with.
transfer argument. It focuses less on witnesses and
That
victims
I would agree
and
with.
more on people already in local custody.
That I would agree
ICE
with.
describes detainers as requests made after another law enforcement
that-
agency has
that
already
is
taken
legal.
someone into custody.
That's the legal side of it. for
Sanctuary
sure.
jurisdictions often respond that detainers
So
are
we're talking
requests,
about here.
not always judicial warrants, and that holding someone past their release time can create legal and constitutional problems. New York's Attorney General, for example, says
That's what we're talking
there
about.
is no legal obligation for local law enforcement to detain someone solely on an ICE detainer.
Right.
So the real policy dispute is not simply should criminals be protected. It is more like should local police and jails act as extensions of federal immigration enforcement,
Exactly.
even if that makes immigrant communities less likely to trust local police.
Exactly.
And on that framing, your point is powerful. Sanctuary policies are often designed to say, open quote, local law enforcement should focus on local crime, not immigration status, because people are safer when victims and witnesses are willing to come forward. Close quote. A fair version of the other side would be, open quote, local governments should not block federal immigration enforcement when someone dangerous is already in custody. Close quote. But the stronger sanctuary response is, open quote, then use a judicial warrant, target serious offenders directly, and do not turn every local police interaction into a possible deportation pipeline.
Exactly.
Close quote. That compromise is where a lot of the serious debate actually sits. Some jurisdictions cooperate in cases involving serious crimes or judicial warrants, while refusing broad cooperation with civil immigration detainers. That distinction matters because it separates public safety enforcement from mass immigration enforcement.
Yeah. So that was a really, really good summary of definitely, the arguments and, as I interjected, that way you guys know what I do agree with and not. So here's how I feel about this, okay? You can feel however you want, all right? I agree with the part of, people that are, obviously committing crimes and stuff. Like there's no question about that. That's just, So the point that I'm talking about, that we're all talking about, is just the idea that this extra force of officers is being taken that could be used elsewhere for good things and stuff like that. And police are always in shorthand. Yet these guys are seemingly kind of doing this with immigration and kind of being a weird way about it when we have these immigration laws. We have very, very, very diverse immigration laws and it's a whole system, and there it is. We just talked about it's very complicated. We could clearly have all these things that we talk about, and it's all very, very definitive answers. Yes, ICE can technically do this, but they shouldn't operate as police. Yada yada. Everything I've basically been saying and agreeing with. So again, yes, I agree with them being able, but like the point is, this is very, very one-off. Like when police find that, well, all right, they can communicate with Border Patrol. They come get the person and transport them. It's literally that simple. And you're talking about throwing people in facilities that they're actually like putting there and feeding them apparently food with worms and stuff in it. And so like again, like we're not talking about actually dealing with it. We're talking about being very sort of Nazi about it. That's what people are trying to say. It seems weird. Okay? Here's how I feel, too, about this whole immigration thing. This is how I look at it. You can look at it however you want. Here's how I feel. Can you give me an approximate number of how many U.S. soldiers have been immigrants over the years leading back to World War II.
I'll give a defensible estimate rather than a false precision count, because US military records usually track foreign-born, non-citizen, or naturalized, not one clean category called immigrants. Yes, the best approximate answer is roughly 1 million or more immigrants/foreign-born people have served in the US military from World War II to today. A careful estimate depends on what you mean by immigrants.
1 million?
Definition, approximate number. Foreign-born service members in UNBW2 alone, 300,000 plus. Military members naturalized through service since the WWI era, 800 plus. Immigrant veterans alive in 2022, about 730,000. Foreign nationals currently serving in 2024, 40,000 plus. Reasonable cumulative estimate from W2 today, around 1 million plus, possibly well above that. The cleanest documented figure is that
They
over
hate this 'cause
300,000 foreign-born individuals
it's a
served
good
in the US
argument.
Army during World War II, and 109,382 foreign-born service members became naturalized citizens between July 1st, 1942 and June 30th, 1945.
Yeah,
The
there
National
it
World
is.
War II Museum also notes that non-citizens were drafted or enlisted, but were not automatically made citizens. For the longer historical picture, the Congressional Research Service reported in 2024 that approximately 801,500 people have naturalized through U.S. military service since the end of World War I, with naturalizations concentrated around wartime periods. CRS
Imagine
also
that.
reported that more than 40,000 foreign nationals
So
were
when
serving
it
in
serves
active and reserve
the
components
U.S.'s
as of February
purpose,
2024.
sure, you can.
Plus an estimated
you can die for
115,000
us.
foreign national veterans living in the US who had served on active duty in the past. That 801,500 number is not the same as all immigrant soldiers, because it counts people who became citizens through military service provisions. It
That's how y'all
misses some
treat
foreign-born
cops,
people
too,
who were
by the
already
way.
naturalized before serving.
Just letting you know.
Foreign-born US citizens, people who served but never naturalized, and people not captured in later datasets. Another useful modern snapshot. The Migration Policy Institute estimated that in 2022 there were about 730,000 foreign-born US veterans, and 84% of them, around 613,000, were naturalized citizens. So the fair, plain English answer is, open quote, since World War II, at least several 100,000 and probably over 1 million immigrants or foreign-born people have served in the US military. A conservative defensible estimate is around 1 million plus, but the exact number is hard to pin down because the records track different categories: foreign-born, non-citizen, naturalized through service, and immigrant veterans. Close quote. If you want the strongest single talking point, I'd use open quote. More than 300,000 foreign-born people served in World War II alone, and more than 800,000 people have become US citizens through military service since the WWI era. Close quote.
Well, there it is. Guys, a million? If it's even close to that. Okay, this is how we're treating immigrants? And they're dying for us, and have been. Okay, this is how I look at this. Like the amount of times that I see a cop or a soldier or something and it says a last name and it's Mendez, Hernandez, things like that. It's a lot. And you're trying to frame this like, oh, we got to get these people out of here. What the hell's the matter with you? How about putting two and two together like I did? I've already told you, anytime I ever had a job and there was a Mexican working that job too, he would work circles around everybody else. And yet, the stereotype in the United States is that they're lazy. That's the stereotype, right? Who did that? Who created that? Gee, I wonder. I wonder if it was the fat, lazy white Americans that recognized this and they're racist. So instead of being like, good for you, man, you're inspiring, I should be more like that. They just become racist, disgusting assholes and hate Mexicans now just because the guy at work is faster than them. And he took your job. He took your job. He took your job. Joe Biden took your job. He took it there. Nobody took your job except for you. Own it. Maybe Trump. Trump takes your job. Okay, that I believe. Yeah, because he's actually doing illegal shit. He's actually the first convict in office going around courts. George W. was quoted saying, we're going to respect the court's decision. Even him. The guy that, listen, he can say whatever speech he wants at the Presidential Center. By the way, I loved the Obama's, Stevie Wonder. Love it. He can say whatever. I still love the guy, okay? I fully respect him. Way better than Trump, okay? I think his ethics are in place. But again, in response to 9/11, instead of going after bin Laden, we randomly destroyed Iraq for no reason whatsoever. Okay? I will never let him fucking forget that. Don't you either. Okay? He doesn't get to make some speech with them and stuff, and suddenly we forget about this. And then listen, endless war in Afghanistan? Shut the fuck up. I condemn this. Ridiculous. That did nothing, dude. Obama took care of bin Laden. Thanks, Obama. Okay? How about you recognize when somebody does something? We had a surplus when that guy came into office because of Bill Clinton. When he left because of those two wars, we had a deficit. Okay? It's that simple. And did they do anything? Did they do anything? Except kill people? Oh, imagine that. Something we can all agree on. Who did that? George W? Okay? Don't let him forget this shit. All right? Ethically, the guy is phenomenal. I don't believe he had anything to do with that. I think Dick Cheney and them knew he's inexperienced and convinced him that you know, there's something going on in these countries because they wanted to make money off of the leftover fucking weapons that would be there after they left the country. Go watch Lord of War with Nicolas Cage. These guys actually did that shit. And I'm not saying that movie is based exactly on Dick Cheney. But, you know, sort of came out around that time and we were sort of being aware of the shit that was going on. Okay? Dick Cheney just tried to make it look like it was this guy, this guy, this guy. He hired those guys. He got a cut. It was literally just him. Do you understand that when the U.S. just leaves from a war, the whole point is they leave the guns behind? Everything is left. You know this, right? Please tell me you know this. Okay. Are you going to accept the fact that somebody's going to do something with that? This is what the CIA focuses on. They know that we do that. So they track them. This is literally how they do what they do. It's disgusting. Now that I've explained it, do you think the CIA should be dismantled and investigated? Do you, I mean, they're literally just doing this. They're giving weapons to Talibans and shit. Anybody that just happens along, and then they go, oh, how'd they get them? Guys, we don't know. Who are they getting them from? Oh, was it the Russians? And then Russia gets pissed, and that's why Putin's pissed at us, too, because we're never honest about that. So why should he? Yeah, he does that shit, too. But when we're not honest about it, why should he be honest? Lead by example. Obama tried to not have any part of that. He just didn't start wars. Okay? We leave everything behind. We don't take it. Iraq, Afghanistan. And then you're going to sit here and post your little dumbass propaganda of the people hanging onto the plane when Biden pulled out. So Biden had the balls to take that one. He had the balls to be like, we shouldn't really be here. And he finally did what every other, they literally they were like, nah, that's going to be really unpopular. I'm not even going to do that. Biden had the balls to be like, I don't give a shit. We need to end this shit. Get him the fuck out of there. And everybody's posting a goddamn plane with frail people hanging. I mean, what do you think is going to happen when a bunch of U.S. soldiers spend their time in this area? They have resources, food, they help these people, they educate them, and then suddenly they're leaving? Take us with you! Ah! To the promised land! Everybody grab on! Please, grab on! Grab on! We can, if we just make it, we can probably hold on for the hours over the ocean and the storm. We can probably make it, right? They actually think they would be willing to try to do that and die doing it because they're going to die where they are anyway. This is what you don't get. That's why it looks that way. And you're like, oh, it looks bad. People hanging on the plane. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean it looks bad? Okay. And? What's Biden supposed to do? All right, you know what? Have a CIA team stationed. Get a nice M60 ready. Take out all those people. Just wipe them out so that we can't have any bad press of people hanging on the plane. Take care of that for me. Is that what he's supposed to do? Because I guarantee you that's probably what the W's would have done. It's probably what Cheney would have done. I swear to God. That's what Cheney would have done. Okay? George H.W. Bush, great president, very unpopular for the things he said. But he did a lot and poised the way for Clinton's. George W. Bush was very inexperienced. He wanted to play baseball. He didn't want to be a president. But he's ethically sound. Like, again, the guy cares. And you can see that. And you saw it toward the end of his second term, for sure. He started paying attention and understanding things more. Because he got experience at it. Okay? The corruption's there. But it's the Republican Party in general. Okay? And it has the ability to corrupt those Republicans. McConnell. I mean, that guy spent literally 40 years in Congress. I just 40 fucking years? He hasn't done anything except be a pain in the ass? Can we recognize where the problems are? It's not the Democrats that endlessly have ideas that are like, well, yeah, here's an idea, let's do it. Again, Republicans are just shutting down the government when, there's a vote to end the Iran war. Mike Johnson just shuts down the government. Let's just shut it down, guys. Let's just shut it down. We're just going to shut down the House. Shut it down. Shut it down. He just shuts down all of Congress. Just shuts it down. Guys, listen, we're not taking a vote anymore. I can see where this is going. You guys are all voting to end the war. We want the war. We can't shut it down. Shut it. There's so many Republicans agreeing with the other side right now because, people are pissed. Shut it down. They were taking Trump's name off the Kennedy Center because that stupid orange fucking faggot jackass wanted his name on the Kennedy Center for no reason whatsoever. You remember as they took it off, he was so embarrassed by this because he's such a stupid fucking faggot jackass. He was so embarrassed by this that he actually has like scaffolding there and like gift wrap shit like covering the scaffolding so you can't see where his name came off. I swear to God. What the fuck is going on with his reflection pool? Why is he fucking with the reflection? What's he doing? He can't even do that? What are all these things that he's doing? And like, again, he can't even do the reflection pool. I want to call out the fact that this guy failed at the simple task of going, okay, Pip's pool cleaning service. Okay. All right, there we go. That looks like a good company, Pip's pool cleaning service. All right, there we go. We're going to do that. Actually failed at that. This is the guy you elected as president of the United States. And he failed at doing that. This should fucking open your goddamn eyes already. Holy shit, man. The guy can't even hire a fucking proper pool cleaning service. It's literally that bad. Oh yeah, well, he's like the most fucking hubcaps or a home improvement fucking dude I've ever seen. He was literally why Jeff Foxworthy made the you know how you're a redneck joke. I mean, he is literally why. Love him, by the way, Jeff Foxworthy. Anyway, hey, you gonna put a little pull liner. Yeah, we got that little flush out there, a little third certain algae and a very devastating. Yeah, and you got the whoozy whatsy all clogged up and the stuff in the with the thing and the we got to run the line and clear it all out. Should be done next Tuesday. Well, it's supposed to be done already, but it's all right. What the fuck? That's what Americans look like. Do you understand that? I look far more like, like a European. You get what I'm saying? But here I am, born right here, and I can't believe it because that guy was also he's also yeah, that's weird. We're pretty dumb. And then we're really offended when somebody calls us dumb. Again, it's like the escalation of the guy, like again, the guy that I told you deserved to be called an asshole in public. These are not, and this is why this is so dumb. Like, I can insult somebody if I want to. Like just the fact that you're so dumb that and then like just like a child would do, you escalate, you know what I mean? So the guy almost hits me with his car when I'm going through a parking lot on across a walkway, and not only that, I have a shopping cart, so I clearly walked off the sidewalk out of the store. I couldn't have possibly gone off the sidewalk in any other place except where I'm supposed to, and wholly aside from that, in the state of Pennsylvania, you are to yield to pedestrians in a parking lot. They do not have to use a crosswalk in a parking lot. Period. End of discussion. You're in a parking lot. It is absolutely 100% believed that people are going to be walking across the parking lot. So, anyway, the guy almost hit me. And literally I had to like move, and I'm calling him an asshole, and then, like, the whole point is I want him to know he's an asshole because nobody's calling him out or checking him, or he's just pulls up like an asshole, drops somebody off, can't even drop her off at the curb, ignores me, doesn't make eye contact after I made eye contact with him, and very clearly tries to floor it in front of me before I walk in front of him with my cart. Clearly, that's what he was doing. And remember, asshole. No, that guy's just an asshole, you know? And the other guy, he's like, "Are you talking to me?" "Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, I was actually just talking about that guy right there. He almost hit me with his car. He's an asshole." And he was kind of like, the other guy, like, was kind of like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, like, he didn't even care. Like the whole point was the guy was like really, he was like, he wanted to make sure it wasn't him. He was like, "Oh, did I?" Like, he was actually concerned. So that's how you should normally handle that. Like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," or something like that. No. This other fucking asshole who did this, who acted like an asshole, I'm just putting my groceries, and he actually he saw me point at him like, "No, the guy in that car, he's the asshole." And he gets out and approaches me while I'm putting my groceries. Oh my god. So, like, the whole point is, like, this asshole actually proves he's an asshole. Doesn't own it. Just doubles down and shows it to me. At any point, you can be an adult and just ignore somebody. Did you know that? Did you know that? You don't have to prove to the random strangers at the grocery store in the parking lot that you're a badass. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. This is like the problem with 90% of Americans. They can't do this. Everything to them is a fight, is a test, is a, I have to be right. So this is the politics right now. This is because you were wrong about Trump. And all of you voted for him, and you feel a certain type, and he allows you this outlet to be an asshole because he's that way. It's exactly the behavior. He enables you to be this way. Talking about women a certain way, and specifically putting women in their place, and they have a place and stuff like that, and like, I mean, what is wrong with this guy? What is seriously wrong with this guy? So anyway, 1 million people that are immigrants that have died for our country. 1 million. And you're treating migrants like this. Like they're the bad guys. No, you're the bad guys. It's you. And those of us who are Americans agree with that. We don't like it. That's the point. That's why people are protesting. Actual Americans. And then ICE tries to make it seem like, that person's a terrorist or this or that. And it doesn't even stick. It's literally just a person protesting. Very obviously. All the time. So who's the terrorist? The person sitting there trying to claim they're enforcing something they're not actually enforcing? Yeah. Because the whole point is, we're all just recognizing stuff like this. 1 million fucking migrants have died for you to have rights, for you to be free in this country. And this is how they're being treated? No, we don't like this. So that's why they're protesting it. It's not protesting immigration. We have that. We've explained that. There are legal ways of going about doing that. And it's very complex and works fine. Obama was very strict on immigration. He deported people in record numbers. This is what people don't recognize. Obama had record deportation numbers. This is the point. He had record numbers of being this way on this, and record numbers with jobs and record numbers with the economy. This is why Trump came in and tried to steal his legacy. Anything with Obama's name on it, he tries to steal it, say, I did that. And when you don't believe it, he gets rid of it, like the Iran nuclear deal. He convinced you that was so terrible, then got rid of it. Oh, but wouldn't it be 100% fantastic if they just would have never been able to make weapons in the first place, huh? And this is why you're claiming you needed to start the war, to deal with these weapons and stuff like that, supposedly. Bull, if you hadn't gotten rid of the deal, then you don't have an excuse now, do you? Oh, well, isn't it amazing how you just do that and it's almost like, wow. Not only did he start a war, just for the sake, again, just to get rid of this thing, but again, getting rid of it for the sake of he didn't do it and it was great. So he's trying to do it again, force them to do it again, and it was never going to work out that way because this guy's an idiot. That's the point. He's an idiot. He always gets us the worst deal. Every step along the way, he's claimed he's going to get the better deal. No, we had the best trade deal for the past decade, 2 decades. The U.S. has gotten the better deal on goods. Period. The tariff bullshit that Trump caused, now we will never have that again. Possibly. If we do, that's a miracle that they would trust us. A tariff is already there. Tariff is the trade deal. You don't just randomly say, oh, here's a tariff. That's forcing a reciprocal tariff. All the country's going to do is look at it like a fine because you didn't agree upon it. So they're just going to reciprocate that. It's that simple. And they can. They can. And quite frankly, Trump, in addition to that, putting us in a worse position economically, domestically, importing oil, while Obama and Biden were domestically drilling for the first time. And Trump changes that back to importing from Russia again, again, Russia. And so like again, and the Nvidia chip deal that went to China because of Trump. This guy is lying to you and selling you out to the rest of the world. He is getting us, ensuring that we get the worst deal. It is not what you think. He is the world's biggest scammer. Period. And he has so fucking many people fooled. The art of the deal is not the art of the deal, it's the art of the steal. Even right in that book. He didn't even write that. And it's literally a book that teaches you how to lie and cheat your way to fooling the other person into thinking, hey, if I didn't win, I didn't win the election. Yes, I did. I didn't win the sale. Yes, I did. It literally teaches you how to scam your way into deceiving somebody and not selling them a valuable thing, not giving them something valuable, something that feels like a good deal for them and you, something that, again, cheats that person. He has had, classically, so many businesses, long before being president, that were scams. They were just scams. Even the one after or during while he's running, even so much as Trump University, just look it up. Trump University? People sued him over that, and they won. When are you going to get a clue? The Trump phone was a disaster. Some people didn't even get it. I told you that was going to happen. Trump phone. I mean, what a joke. Everything he's done has been a scam joke. And again, continuing that same thought process, he's just spending more money, losing money. The guy lost trillions of dollars. He's lost about $2-3 trillion at this point that we have no idea where it went. It's your money that you gave to the government, and he lost it. Trillions Again, I've already explained to you, if you tried to find $1 trillion in the world, you'd actually have a hard time actually adding up all the money in the world and actually equating to $1 trillion. It's not real. These are assets and things. That kind of money doesn't actually exist. And he lost it. How is Elon Musk a trillionaire? And this is the guy that went into the DOJ and fired everybody overnight. He doesn't have experience in law. He doesn't have experience in military and dealing with matters of criminality and shit. That this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And yet the world's richest man, the first trillionaire, is conveniently the guy that goes in and takes your job. And legitimate jobs too. Legitimate ones. Military. You know, we're talking Pentagon stuff. We're talking Department of Justice. This is serious. And you let the stupid faggot that runs Tesla lay everybody off? You know that guy is gay, right? He can't even be honest with his wife. Like, this guy is dumb. He plays smart. If anything, he's just the world's best actor. The good actors, again, they're criminals. And again, not the ones you see in plain sight, like Bryan Cranston. That guy's just a genius with acting, okay? The ones you don't see. The ones that hide as people. That's Elon Musk. He's the world's greatest criminal, too. Why are all these CEOs worth? Why is like, for example, Microsoft CEO worth over like billions of dollars? Billions. What has he done? Except make Microsoft trash. What has he done? Why is he worth billions? He has made that company on purpose garbage. He is literally on purpose sabotaging the company. And this guy's worth billions. What the fuck? That guy should be in jail. He's sabotaging a company with jobs people depend on. People depend on the products of this company working too. The U.S. government depends on the products of this company working. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Suddenly we have a conspiracy of billionaires to tank U.S. products on purpose because they're being paid to. Oh, and then you wonder what the FBI is doing? They're covering this up. The FBI, under the most fucking criminal, disgusting piece of shit in office, convicted on 42 accounts, is going to use the FBI as his own personal toilet. Why do you think Kashi Dickhead Patel is a director? This guy doesn't deserve the highest law enforcement position in the country. Who did I just subscribe to? I just subscribed to a cop on YouTube that's way fucking more qualified and proves that to me in 30 seconds on a YouTube video more than he does than Kashi Dickhead Patel does throughout his entire time that he's been as the director of the FBI. Again, I would much rather trust a random cop with experience. Because there's a track record. There's experience. You can look at it. Well, he's trustworthy. There it is. But Kashi dickhead fuck douchebag Patel, where he just loyalist that comes randomly in there. Like, who the fuck is JD Vance, too? You don't know who the hell this guy is. You know, what's funny? Thank you. Nice live. Thank you. You know what's funny about this? I think it's hilarious when you can see these guys change what they're doing based on what Ron puts out these videos that blasts him. I think it was so funny how they fat shamed JD Vance into losing some weight. Did you notice that? I swear to God, like, you see all these, like, you know, like JD Vance being fat and shit like that. The guy lost some weight. You notice that? Like, look around, like, his ears and his jawline. He's losing weight. Why? Looked fine before. What's getting to you, Vance? Oh, right. Oh, right. It's what everybody's saying because you're a fucking douchebag that knows you're in the wrong, so you feel bullied and picked on. You don't have any confidence. It's that simple. Because you know you're a douche. You got any confidence, you'd be like, I don't give a shit what that guy says. I'll wear my dumbass eyeliner all I want. And eat all the fucking ice cream and donuts I want. Well, that's what it is. This guy's popping into the White House freezer and grabbing himself an ice cream sandwich anytime he's there. That's all it is. That's not somebody with confidence. And who the fuck is he? You know, Biden? Again, I told you guys this. Biden, he was there forever. You know, we talked about this before. We did. But he was there forever. And he was always the guy you could see in like one-off segments and stuff like that. He was always the guy over the years where like everybody like has some sort of propaganda bullshit they're peddling. Not Biden. I swear to God, every time over the years that he was caught in like an interview here and there and stuff like that, it's like the sort of thing where like Biden just lays it down and it's just like, no, it's just gonna be like this. This is where it's gonna go. Be like that. And you're like, oh shit. That is how it went. Damn. Guess I know why Obama picked him. Because he knows what he's doing. Doesn't matter that he's old. He can handle it. And when he was vice president for Obama, he wasn't really that old. You know who was actually a good vice president? And you won't accept it? Kamala Harris. She's actually really good. But none of you will look it up and look up facts and information on what she did. You just sit here and be like, oh, she's terrible. Duh. Why is she terrible? You just like literally that anybody that votes for Trump should just be duh. That's how you sound. Because you don't come from fact. You say nothing. You're just like, oh, she's bad. Get her out. Biden's old. Sleepy. Do you know who's actually falling asleep? Guess who's actually falling asleep? Biden never actually fell asleep. Yeah, Trump was just making fun of him. Because he looked sleepy, I guess. I never thought that. I always just thought he looked old. But remember, Biden always looked old. Biden looked old in his fucking 30s. This dude had a receding, graying hairline in his 30s. I'm not even in my 30s anymore. Yeah. That dude always fucking looked old. Completely normal. Yep. Meanwhile, Donald Jackass Trump, boy, he's aged pretty rapidly, hasn't he? Do you remember his speech recently where he's like, how's the New Deal in Iran going? Is it going good? Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. If it's going good, I'm gonna take full credit. But if it's not, I'm gonna blame JD Vance. Duh. His eyes are like swollen. And they're like putting all this makeup on to try to cover it up now. But you can still see it. His eyes are swollen like all the time. Yeah. Um so he's dying. Just so you know. I'm sure it's not a shock. But like don't be surprised if there's a giant conspiracy where he does die and like they're trying to like replace him and prop up like a puppet or something. I swear, like, don't be surprised if this is something to be concerned about. Yeah, I feel like it at this point, that's what you have to be concerned about. They lie about so much with Trump. Again, the guy doesn't even go anywhere without this dumb facial rub. Again, normal presidents for interviews and shit, fine. Just like anybody else. But they don't walk around everywhere with just face rub on. It's just this random foundation just rubbed all over your face. What are you hiding? And why are you blatant? Like we know that you can't, like, again, I know that, like, to people that don't do this it would sound ridiculous, but think about it in long term. You're rubbing shit on your face all the time. It's going to get in your eyes and this is detrimental to your health. You can't just rub shit all over your face every day, all hours of the day, and expect nothing to happen. No, you're going to get eye infections. You're going to get, like, there's all kinds of shit that's going to happen. That's what's going on. He's getting eye infections. He's not treating it. It goes a while. Then he gets an infection here. He gets an infection here. What do you think the gigantic thing was on the back of his neck? He's getting skin infections. Now, again, I want to call out just how not normal anything is. And the point is, you need, I mean, for Christ's sake, it's to the point, like, I am not this way. I am not this way at all. Like, when Obama used to talk, I would even kind of I would be like, yeah, that's nice. It's nice, positive, and stuff like that. Can we stop with the woke shit and just get to the part where you tell us what's actually happening? And then again, the reason I take that tone is because I know there's another side that just implicitly hates him that's going to be saying these things. So, like, it's just the like, I'm trying to think about what they're cringing about, and it's really annoying. But that's the part. That's the point. Is so. You have to recognize, you just have to recognize the fact that I have gotten to the point where I've admitted that, like, I can't even, like, Obama talks. in public, gives a speech. And I swear to God, I actually tear up a little bit. Because it's literally like, I can't. Did we really have it so good? Did we really? Oh, he's so awesome. Did we really have it so good and we fucked up again? Oh, God. That's how it feels. It feels like that, though. Because we did. We really had it that good. That's why it's such a polar opposite that you've all accepted out of Trump. Because there was so much respect for the office that when this guy came in, he's actually getting away with all this. I told you it's the same bullshit that you know, again, just like you don't understand what happens with a movie, you know? Or the reason why the sequel does well isn't because, again, necessarily it was good. It's because everybody went and saw it because it's highly anticipated. That means the thing that came before was so goddamn good. You are highly anticipating the next one to be just as, you know, like equally as quality as the original. That is why. That is why highly anticipated. So they're doing this. Because racist people that are even flat out told Obama did this, they'll completely ignore that you said it and move on to the next thing, is trying to find something else to. Oh, yeah, but he did the. No, he didn't. He didn't do that. That was Trump. Oh, yeah, but what about the. Well, that, you know, that was the sort of thing where, again, propaganda was something he actually did, just a lie that you can look up. Oh, well, you know, that's fake news. You can't trust those fact checkers. Why? Why? Have a reason. Why? So again, there are fake media outlets that Trump funded when he started all that, and you can look that up. It's true. The fact checkers like Snopes and stuff like that, they existed before that. And they existed, again, the whole purpose of this is an organization specifically designed to try to figure out what the truth is. They are completely unbiased to anything. That's the purpose of it. To look at all the facts of everything and just be like, no or yes. So that you actually have a definitive no or yes. That's what it's for. And Trump spun this. This is why you have no idea. This is specifically why Hillary was like, I hope you're getting your fact checkers out. And you were cringe about it. Endlessly, this is cringe for you now just because Hillary. Because you've literally just blatantly branded her this thing that Trump is. Trump is this thing, not her. She blatantly led our country very, very well as Secretary of State for how long? Very crucial roles. Was grilled about, interrogated about this thing that everybody gets wrong about her and nobody looks up. And you just branded, hated her for no reason. She won 3 million more votes than Donald Trump. She won the popular vote. Trump won the Electoral College by a small margin. He didn't win the election. This is how he's trying to rig it, okay? And that's the point. You just have to win the Electoral College in this country. And that's what's so dumb about our system. So, again, Hillary Clinton is the fucking reason you do this with these fact checkers. And again, it has nothing to do with anything. You're just doing that. You understand, a fact checker is literally just like unbiased people looking for the information. You know, like a sort of what I do with the AI, except it's unbiased people. Where again, they're doing this because they want, again, that's what their organization stands on. You know, again, it doesn't stand for much if you figure out that it's biased. You're going to move on, right? Okay. So that's the point. Snopes is absolutely credible. There's quite a few other ones too, but again, you want to look at what's propaganda and bullshit? It's the ones that Trump funded. If Trump is funding a fact check, again, Hillary Clinton isn't like, well, I funded this one. No, she's just saying, I hope you're getting your fact checkers out. Donald Trump actually funded fake fact checkers to confuse people. And like some people actually use these. One of the most scam bullshit things I've ever seen is when morons, and I truthfully mean this, you're a moron if you do this. You need to accept it. You're an adult. Shut the fuck up. One of the most scam things I've ever seen Trump do is and Republicans do this too. They will pay for a service to learn all of your Google search data and everything you type in and limit your Google searches based on conservative Republican views. And those aren't conservative views anymore. They're radical. The whole point is that that's your propaganda. You actually pay this scammer to lie to you, to take out the stuff that you would normally see where it's the trusted sources like the Washington Post, CNN, and conveniently all the other stuff Trump is putting on his White House fucking page going, exposed, CNN exposed. Where, again, these are the household brands you've trusted that, again, would be highly criticized and, again, serve no purpose in the news reporting community by reporting misinformation. The whole point is they serve you well by being reliable, being unbiased, knowing that you can count on them. That they're not going to do this. Otherwise, again, they develop that name. That's the point. And Trump's the only one, him and his dumb people are the only ones saying these things too. So that's my point. You didn't look up all of the stuff that the Republicans are already doing to you to scam your data and lie. I've already told you about the scam texts that I get. Every scam political text I have ever gotten, ever, it never said anything the other way. It always said it where it was like, you know, the Dems are trying to push this thing that lets illegals across the border. Oh my God! Stop the Dems now! Text this number and give us your information. Stop the Dems now from illegals. Blah 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 blah. Propaganda. You're racist. Illegals. Propaganda. Blah blah blah. Stop the Dems. You hate Dems. You hate illegals. Let me throw all this in your face. Blah blah blah. Scam scam scam. Text your information. Let me get your information. Text this number. Why is it literally always that way? Why is it never like, oh, stop the Republicans from... Why? Why is it only from the Democrats a poll? Yep, the Democrats, they just wanted you to take a poll because they want to know where you stand. Oh, because that's statistics and information. I'd call that doing the fucking job. Yep. And then meanwhile, you're like, duh, why do you want that? Duh. But you're like, yes, limit my search results so I couldn't possibly see anything else. Christ, man. And then you're like, well, how do you know what to trust? Hey, I have news for you. How about don't sit here and pay a scammer to limit your fucking Google search results? How about that? How about be smart? And how about just educate yourself? So the point is, the age of information is arguably also the age of misinformation, where we have all this stuff on the internet, but again, you have this stupid asshole that is actually using his very substantial fortune to run misinformation around the internet. Okay? That's it. Billionaire wants to run misinformation. That's going to work. He's got the money to do it. Stop the steal. Remember that? And that's what led to the insurrection at the Capitol. Illegal shit. People just committing crimes and incited by the president. He literally took out an ad. I saw the ad show up on TV several times. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, like, do you have any idea how illegal that is? Like, actually misinforming the public. And so all these people showed up, and yeah, all they found out is that they were wrong. Remember? And they were they actually were trying to stop the counting of votes, and like this is the whole point. That whoa boy, that is not incredible. Like we're talking like, you want to talk about obstruction? Oh my god. So not only that, and these people, there were cops that died from this. That's not okay. And they covered that up too. And then when I covered that, I was threatened online. And I said, screw you. They actually covered this up. And the department that was there in DC covering it up had several whistleblowers, cops that came out and said, yeah, they lied. But they tried to keep their names from being released. Where these cops were pepper sprayed and later had several heart attacks. One of them died from that specifically. And all I did was 30 seconds of fucking research to find out that the one of the ingredients in pepper spray conveniently is linked to heart attacks. So again, somebody that has never had these heart attacks suddenly has two right after this, then dies. He's the one that got pepper sprayed. And again, he's a cop. And he was pepper sprayed by these terrorists that were there to try to stop the counting of votes. So that's disgusting. And this president is right now giving these faggots immunity. He is getting them off. And some of them, he's giving them fucking $5 million a piece. God. This should piss you off. They killed cops. And now he's giving them immunity and $5 million a piece. This is why it is so important for you to find the correct information, because when this shit happens, the main media outlets, they're going to be pressured to not cover this stuff. And they're trying not to. because he's trying to take him down. That's why it's not getting covered as much, because he is sitting here combining organizations, just like the Paramount merger where he canceled Colbert at the top of his ratings. Just because Trump merged these companies, bought out fucking trash network, fired people, and then that trash network too is continuing to double down on and truthfully, the guy from 60 Minutes stepped down too because of what's going on. He said, "Screw you, assholes, for doing that." Basically, because that's what they are. After all those years of standing for news and reporting and truth, people are getting fired and stepping down because of what's happening. No. No. This is a child that can't take when he's wrong. Remember, this faggot embroidered a hat. He thought about it. He ordered this hat. He put the order in. He told the company, "Yep, that's what I want on the hat." Thought about it. He's an adult. Remember, he can think about this and think, well, you know, this might look stupid and might not look, like I'm a very smart person. But no, he didn't think that. He ordered it, had them, make it. He has plenty of time to change his mind. Ships to him, gets the box. There's all these people there that are seeing the hats too and can tell him, this is really not a very good idea. This is really stupid. You look dumb. But no, and he has plenty of time to not look dumb too. While he's correcting people, by the way, the word dumb has a B in it and stuff like that. And he thinks people don't know that. And he's this dumb. And so, again, just like with the hat, he has time to not do this and think about it, but he does it anyway. Puts this hat on, and right there it says it. I was right. Trump was right about everything. Right there. Trump was right about. Yeah. Because people that are right about everything and, they know stuff and they're right and they feel confident and feel like they know some stuff, they have to embroider a hat and get everybody to wear it to feel right. Yep. That one. Yeah. God. It's like when Elon Musk was like, "Hey, what should I tell him? What do you think I should tell people about my black eye? Do you think I should tell them the truth? Or do you think I should just make something up?" Make something up? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, I got it. And then he doesn't tell anybody, he doesn't rehearse it. They just go, and he's just like, "Yeah, I told my son to punch me in the face." And then they realize they probably should have practiced this, and then they're probably all thinking to themselves, "Oh, son of a bitch." And yep, and there it is. There it is. Just again, the guy remember Zelensky, the guy whose country is attacked, could possibly demoralize a country at war by being seen smiling or wearing a suit or just sort of like looking nice and like he's trying to have a good, happy, fun time in the U.S. while his country is dealing with shambles. But they tell him, "Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit?" Duh. They're so dumb. They have no idea why he could possibly not be wearing a suit. Again, like everything I just said, demoralizing the country that's being attacked. Again, they're watching this. They don't want to, but they could never possibly possibly think of this because they're fucking stupid, right? So anyway, they give Zelensky a hard time. Like, obviously, this guy has every reason not to. Plenty of world leaders don't, and stuff like that. But they literally grill this guy, make him feel like shit. And he's there asking for help. And JD Vance and Trump make him feel like absolute garbage. Again, remember, the whole point is they're feeling great after Biden was in there and fixed things again. So they're sitting comfortably. They can talk to him like this, and he needs help. Now it's reversed. Like, we are fucked, okay? We could get some help from them. And I swear to God, like that's real. And so, the whole point is that Elon Musk, the guy that can't even be honest about why he's a black guy, this guy, he's not wearing a suit. Endlessly, just like a t-shirt, sometimes puts a blazer on over the t-shirt. But again, this guy doesn't wear a suit. And he's the weirdest motherfucker I've ever seen. And that guy isn't required to wear a suit. He's your employee. He's gutting the DOJ. He's a piece of shit. And he doesn't have to wear a suit. And he's your employee. So basically, your employees do whatever the fuck they want. And you're a terrible boss, Trump. Yes, exactly. And so again, he doesn't run anything. He doesn't do the job. Right there it is. I mean, Elon Musk is his employee, and that's how he acts. And he can interrogate Zelensky about not wearing a suit and be a piece of shit to him. Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. But Elon Musk, douchebag. Remember, this guy got caught cheating at Diablo. The guy that got caught cheating at Diablo. Okay. And this is the guy you don't. He. That's fine if he doesn't wear a suit. That's fine. Even I wear a suit. Even I wear a suit. Now I realize it's not all the time, because I don't want to give that impression. But I also want to give the impression that it's okay to wear a suit and look nice. It's okay. I mean, men in the U.S. are so confused. Everything's either gay or cringe. Why? Just because some stupid testosterone-filled moron in school you went to school with said so? Now you're carrying this around? Probably. Is that why? Probably. That's why Trump acts that way. Remember, because those are schoolyard issues that we're dealing with the behavior with these voters. It's schoolyard issues. It's issues they didn't get over. It's bullying. It's them not understanding what actual bullying is. It's not words. If you try to flip my free speech at me, you're the bully. That's a perfect example of it. You want to fucking curse me out? I'm just going to be like, are you okay? Are you better? Oh, you want to keep going? Okay. What do I give a shit? And if it's not true, it's like at me, I'll just be like, okay, well, let's clear this up. Every person that flips that, you're a bully. You are playing victim and you're the bully. Because you would expect it the other way around. You would expect people to hear you out. It's free speech, man. If you're an adult and your actions are changed and dictated by somebody insulting you, you're not an adult. You have schoolyard issues. You want to harm somebody because they said something. This is the endless. What'd he say? What'd he say about me? What's he saying? Who the fuck cares? Why do you care? What does it matter? Okay. Do you get what I'm saying? And look, my point is that cops normally haven't acted like this, but this is becoming a real problem. Where lately, not all cops, but I'm just saying lately they've been having problems. And it's just because people will want to yell "fuck you" out the window or something like that. And then the cop is chasing them down the road. You can't pull out and chase somebody down the road because they yelled "fuck you" out the window. You can't do it, dude. Can't do it. Now, if there's another reason why immediately you can determine a reason to go after him, hey, there you go. You can fully be an asshole now because they were an asshole. But if there's no reason, dude, like, you're a douche. You are the example of why he's doing that. He's doing that because he is really upset at the police online and in the community that he is seeing violating maybe his rights and the rights of his friends and family. And he's voicing this. And then right as he's voicing it, you prove it. You chase him down the road and violate his rights. Okay? Don't do that. Courts have ruled that the words "fuck you" by themselves directed at a police officer are not fighting words. They're not. Period. It means "fuck you." Cannot sit there and be like, oh, it's fighting words. It's just not. There is no look up the words "fuck" and "you." Look them up. One is sexual intercourse, and "you" is you. So I'm telling you to have sex with yourself. And these are fighting words. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You're a bully. That's it. You're the guy that when somebody stood up to you in the schoolyard and said "fuck you" because of what you were doing, instead of churning the other cheek, you hit him. That's you. And now you're a cop with problems because nobody checked you. I always turn the other cheek. I sit on here and pretend and say this, that, and the other thing. Have I had to use my my martial arts abilities before? Oh yes. Have I had to defend myself in a real situation where somebody took a swing at me randomly? Oh yeah. Yep. So I know it works. And have zero, you know, I mean, I knew that just from being alone and running a martial arts school every day for years. I mean, I knew that just from that. Okay. I have all kinds of guys walking in the door. And quite frankly, some of those dudes were literally like ex-Marines and they were fucking huge. Okay. So trust me, I better be confident with that kind of guy walking in the door. And it would. So my point is, if it's a problem with you, fix it. Go into martial arts. Be confident. Do something about it. I'm serious. That's why Joe Rogan has a voice. Now, as much as I don't like the side of the aisle he's on, this is why he can have a voice, because he did do the whole, didn't he do a UFC for a while? So since he did it, he has a voice for that. He can talk about it. He has experience with it. I've been doing martial arts since I was fucking 11 years old, man. And I've seen the behaviors. I've seen it. A million times. It's always that. It's the inability in other people to turn the other cheek. I have, quite frankly, talked somebody down before because I didn't want to assault them. Yeah, like they were trying to get into a fight with me, and I talked them out of it. It was clever. I had to be very clever because they were not backing down. So I had to sort of manipulate them to think it was in their best interest. But this is what a good real person does. They don't look at it like a challenge, like, oh, everybody's watching, so, you know, I better prove something. These are the assholes that go into competitive martial arts and think that a trophy means anything. It doesn't mean anything. Ultimate fighting. You have a problem. You have a problem. There's nothing ultimate. Again, if you want to truly test your abilities, you would do it. You're doing it to get the trophy, to brag about it. There's nothing ultimate about it. I like literally, if a real fighter, again, and people that are trained properly, you go in the ring. Again, your knee is broken, your elbow is broken. Again, soft tissue. You may not even be breathing within 2 seconds. 2 seconds. It's a technique. And I'm going to break every rule within that 2 seconds. No groin hits, no dismemberment, you know, that. You know, again, people in military call this Krav Maga and shit like that. No, I mean, like, again, when you teach Kung Fu and you know traditional, it's just all Kung Fu. It all came from that. So, again, you can call it whatever the fuck you want, okay? They're just extrapolating it from that. So, again, the whole point is that this is what a real fighter is gonna actually, like a real trained person is gonna use, and in seconds. Okay, it's the sort of thing where, like, even sometimes with how lazy an attacker comes at me, even oftentimes I don't even have to do much. It's like a two-finger situation. This is very valuable in kung fu. This. Don't underestimate what a martial artist, um, a real martial artist can actually do. Most of what you see in America is dumpster dollar store trash. I've called out the Tung Su, the Tung Sudo Association, the American Tung Sudo. I've called them out. They're garbage. It's garbage. Everything about it is garbage. Teaches you wrong. You will literally get hit if you try to block any strikes like they teach you how to block them. And they will actually teach you how to strike improperly. Telling you to slam your joints out really hard when you do strikes and stuff. Oh my God, you're going to destroy yourself. It's just wrong. So it's like the same concepts where people take something to the extreme and they're doing it wrong. It's exactly what I explained with like power bodybuilding and stuff like that, like too much weight, like powerlifting and stuff. Too much is too much. You should lift a comfortable amount of weight a lot of times. Do you know why? Because you're going to get the most out of it. You're not tearing like ligaments and tendons and shit and destroying the joint and creating scar tissue so that when it heals, your joint's just shit. That's how you get injured. If you do a lot of reps with a little bit of weight because you're not trying to fucking show off, guess what? Now your muscles just heal and you didn't damage the fucking joint and create scar tissue. Period. But all you dumb fucks want to go to the gym and you don't even listen to that thing. You know, even certain gyms have it right with their policies where there should be no reason you're grunting and stuff. If you're grunting, you're lifting too much. Granted, once in a while, I understand. You get near the end of the reps, you're gonna grunt a little bit. All right, it happens. But if you're just doing it all the time, like that, all right, you're lifting too much, dude. And Pete Hegseth, okay, all right, that guy doesn't even lift. I can just literally tell his fucking body's falling all over the place. He can't even plant his fucking feet right. Listen, you're doing it wrong. You are damaging your joints. And I helped a student with this. One of my longest running students was a bodybuilder before and I really helped him with flexibility, and he really went a long way. He did. And he admits that like the rigidness and stuff that he experienced, he was asking me about that, and I was just flat out honest with him, like, look, it was your powerlifting days, like this ruined. You tore all those ligaments and stuff, those tendons over time, and they just never healed properly. Now your joints just don't work. So like you try to do something, it just injures it. You can't use it anymore. So over time, through like some Tai Chi and some rebuilding and stuff like that, we were able to get him to a comfortable, point to where he felt like he could do it again and stuff like that and whatnot. But again, it doesn't mean that the scar tissue and the injuries aren't there. You will still never be, because you did that. It would be like a football player with a really serious injury or something and trying to go back into it. You can't expect that. You might heal, You can't expect that. And with powerlifting, truthfully, if you're to the point where you're not flexible and you're not like flexible at all, like you can't even bend down or lift your leg up, you've damaged your body. And to the assholes that watch and don't and assume things, okay? I'm not talking about the guy that was a really big guy that I went through the ranks with and was my sparring partner. Not even talking about that guy. Actually, a different guy. My instructor actually worked with that guy. My Sifu actually worked with that guy. That was how I was able to kind of get the knowledge, just seeing how he was able to do that and him being my sparring partner. But so it's a completely different experience. But the whole point is some of these assholes jump to conclusions and watch my stream. So just figured I'd state that. So anyway, the point is that there are so many things that the average American is just really fucking stupid about. And you tell them and they get so embarrassed. They get so embarrassed. Like, I swear to God, again, I already gave you the example of the lady recently where she was clearly trying to, like, very obviously create a problem or something like that and talking to me and stuff like that because it was obvious the way she did it, okay? So the whole point is that, like, all I had to do was talk about Q-tips. And her face got really red. Because, like, the whole point was I was telling her about how, you know, like, Q-tips, they're not for cleaning your ears. And it was almost like she was in disbelief, but she didn't do that. She didn't challenge it. However, I could tell by her tone, well, what are they for then? That means she didn't believe it. And then I told her, and you can almost kind of tell, like, it was like, oh yeah, they would work for that. Almost like, damn. He just had that ready. He knew. Damn, it's not made up. Fuck. This very regular thing I've been doing, fucking up my ears all these years, I shouldn't actually be doing. And this guy knew it. This is how Americans look at it. They don't look at it like, wow, you just told me something I didn't know. Wow, this whole time I was doing that. What a fucking retard I am. Ha 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 ha. What's wrong with that? Who cares? I'm fucking retarded about shit. Yeah, I love the meme that's like, I was today years old when I realized. I love that. That's how we should all embrace that. Okay? And again, to the cops out there, I just recently watched a video, so that's why I'm mentioning this. This is another thing that younger cops, I think, are making the mistake, specifically vehicle code hoppers. You guys know that cars in the 80s and 90s had a bench seat in the back facing out the back, right? Seats did not always face the same way. So why are dumb cops like, oh, well, I don't know, that seat's facing the wrong... I literally spent 8 hours of my childhood life, weekends sometimes, facing cars of people staring at me. I would make faces and shit. But, like, the point is, we all like do you guys watch, didn't they have one in Malcolm in the Middle, for Christ's sake? Didn't? Okay. Like who the hell doesn't know this? So if you claim to be a nerd about vehicle code and you're such an asshole dumbass that you don't know that, well, you know, just about 20, 30 years ago, that wasn't the case. then somebody needs to tell you that. You know what I mean? It just it baffles my mind um how foolish people are. You know, and that like they would see things a certain way and want to like cause a problem for somebody just because they see it a certain, you know, like I just and so my point is like think about how many of us this is a regular thing. Now think about how many cops are probably code nerds and causing problems for people, you know, or something like that where they've never seen this. This is wow, eye opening to them, and you know, like just something dumb like this where they don't understand it. Okay, that's kind of the point. Just like my point with like the whole recording in public thing and stuff like that, like in the parking lots, the vehicles. Look, I understand how that looks, but again, part of the problem with that is unless the government puts up a sign that says no trespassing, you cannot record on this premises or something like that, it is believed that the cop is randomly just trying to harass the person. Because how do I know that that's actually like a policy? If the government wanted me to not to record, they would put a sign. They would clearly label, I am not allowed to record on this premises. So why are you randomly coming out and harassing people? They would again, what do you care? They can't get in the car. The cars are all locked. You have the key. So they're just recording the outside of the vehicles in the lot and stuff like that. And you come out to try to find a reason to what are you doing? Why not just watch them, look at the footage later? If they did something illegal, well, there you go. If anything, leaving them alone, letting them fester, and that would probably get you closer to to a sighting than going out and giving them a problem. So like I just like my point is like if there's no fence, clearly like a gate thing keeping people from entering the lot, I promise you the local government and stuff, they're not trying to keep people from recording and they're not keeping them out. And I submit to you anybody is going to rule the other way because at any time all throughout the day that police station gets all kinds of deliveries, FedEx, UPS, whatever it is, and those drivers, even food deliveries, they wear body cams now, and they have them on the cars. Every single person that interacts with that facility that is not just a normal citizen, that is a person doing a job delivering something or something like that, they're recording. So I got news for you. They're momentarily having a problem with citizens who would just happen upon it because they're not smart enough to think of this. So thus, the fairness of the situation just becomes about them having a problem with the fact that, you know, you're recording their cars and they don't like it too much. So what are they doing? Why don't they like that? That's my point. My point is that some of them look drunk. I question whether some cops around here are actually on duty drunk. If I'm allowed to go up there and what if I find an open container? I just literally did better police work than anybody in my entire state. Because here this comp is. Getting regularly drug tested and, you know, all that, supposedly. Supposedly. But he's got an open container. Do you know why they don't want you to do it? Because some corrupt cops plant evidence. They actually will have like a pipe or something in their car. And if you see that, oh boy. I swear to God. Because a lawful cop, what does he care? No, I'm serious. What does he care? What is the danger? They can't get in it. He's just filming the outside of the car. He's just filming the lot. What do you care? I sure as hell, I'd be like, dude, don't you have so, seriously, if I worked at that department and I saw somebody doing that and everybody else was focusing on it and the even my officers were going out there to give him a hard time, I would literally go out there and I'd literally go back inside right now and go back to what you were doing. Leave the citizen alone. If we find that he does something illegal, we'll go after him. Let him be. Be about your business. I'm sorry, sir. Proceed. That's all they want to see. If you did that, person would probably leave. They want to know that you're not a bunch of terrorists working at the police station. I swear to God, this is the point. They want to know that you're not there to just come out and harass them, just like you do when you pull people over and you don't have a reason and you got the light, you're looking around the car. If you had a reason, you'd walk up, license, registration, proof of insurance. So why are you looking around the car? Why are you asking where you're coming from, where you're going? You can't ask that. You have no business asking me that. It's to trick you, to lie. They want you to lie about where you're coming from, where you're going. You don't have to tell them that. If they detain you and they go, all right, well, we're conducting an investigation, investigating blah, 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 blah. So we need to know where you're coming from, where you're going. Oh, suddenly, well, now it's a little bit different. They might actually probably cause random traffic stop. No. No. And they love to try to pull people over for a window tint and to give them a hard time. Corrupt, disgusting cops pull people over for a window tint. You didn't do it. They know that. Got nothing to do with you, yet they're pulling you over for it. Factory window tint. What the fuck? Yeah. You bought the car like that. It was like that before and you bought it like that. It was registered in your state. They inspected it and said it was fine like that. And now this cop is actually trying to say it's illegal. Well, that cop is wrong. And just to let you know, there actually is no law in Pennsylvania that says that you can be pulled over for window tint. You actually can't. I tried to find it. So he lied. And this is what you have to realize. Cops don't technically have the right to lie to you. They think they do. The problem with doing that is now when a cop lies, you're lying to every other cop that looks at that paperwork, that looks at this, that, again, you told this about, and you are lying to every other cop. That's why cops can't actually lie. They really can't. Because if they lied, and there's a court and there's a lawsuit court, all that, everything's thrown away. Like that, seriously. Seriously. Because the cop lied. He literally did that based on false parameters. He just made some shit up so that way he could do all this. No, that's how cops operate sometimes. They actually get away with it. Do you remember how I covered, we're going to get out of here soon, but do you remember how I covered about a year ago, I want to say, I covered that in the United States we had Chinese police stations. This is real. I know it sounds crazy. Real. They were being operated by the Chinese government. I swear to God. Look it up. This is real. And the Biden administration was doing something about this. So I want to know what happened under Trump now. That's really happened. Fake police that were Chinese. Like literally, like not Chinese. They were Americans, I think. But they were working for the Chinese government. Some of them probably Chinese. I swear to God. And they're all over. They were like the contractors that randomly show up to the calls if you're a cop and you know what I'm talking about. The people that randomly, you're like, who the fuck is this guy? That's why there's so many. Yeah. So under Trump, now that's escalating, right? Right? Oh my God. No, really. No, there's no, I swear to God, no conspiracy here. That's real, man. And it's not okay. That is, oh my God. Like, again, the Chinese government really had police stations. They were arresting people. All for data collection. The point was to slide under the radar. You know, actually operate as police. Yeah. And now Trump handed them our data on a silver platter. The thing that they were doing all this time, spending all this money, making all these police stations for and shit. And Trump's like, here you go. There you go. Holy shit, man. Now, I covered this story, but I wasn't the only one. That's a pretty big story to not cover. I can't believe. And truthfully, this was on the TV even. Like, it was all on mainstream media and stuff, but they just forgot it. It's almost like they forgot about it. Or people didn't receive it well or something, like thought it was a conspiracy, I guess. I don't know. No. It's that bad. Really, that really happened. Really. And I think this is why people are not accepting it, because there are so many of these things that seem so crazy where it's like, how? But that happened. And there's evidence to support it. So anyway, the next thing I said was, after the whole thing we talked about with the millions of people, you know, the whole situation where I look at this whole immigration thing as, you know, again, if 1 million fucking people died for us since World War II and they're migrants, we should be nicer to immigrants. We really should. I mean, this is ridiculous. And we have immigration policies and laws anyway. So what we're doing is, again, it's very radical, it's very extreme, it's very Nazi-like. It's very concentration camp. So my follow-up, again, to this was just that then we shouldn't be doing this to migrants. This ICE thing is terrible, knowing that 1 million defended us with their lives.
I hear you. That history gives the issue real moral weight. Immigrants have not just come here. Many have served, fought, paid taxes, built families, and defended the country. So when enforcement is carried out in ways that feel indiscriminate, humiliating, or fear-inducing, it can feel like a betrayal of people who have contributed deeply to the US. A fair way to frame it is, immigration law still exists, but enforcement should be humane, targeted, and proportionate. That means prioritizing genuinely dangerous individuals, protecting due process, avoiding family separation whenever possible,
Exactly.
not terrorizing workplaces
That.
or neighborhoods, and recognizing military service, long residence, caregiving, community ties, and lack of criminal history as powerful reasons for discretion.
Be human, man.
The strongest argument you're making is not there should be no immigration system. It is, open quote, a country that has relied on immigrants to defend it should not treat migrants as disposable,
We are
suspect,
immigrants, all
or
of
less
us.
human. Close quote.
While
that is
we're
a morally
born
serious
here,
position.
all of us are
It
immigrants.
also lines up with a practical one. Communities are safer when people trust local institutions.
This is
report
not our
crimes,
native land,
and
guys.
feel they can cooperate without putting their entire family at
The
risk.
brown people were here
There's still
first.
room for debate over borders, asylum rules, visa backlogs, and what to do with people who commit serious crimes. But ICE should have unlimited power to sweep people up, is not the only way to have immigration enforcement. A democratic system can enforce laws while still insisting on dignity, constitutional protections, and proportionality.
It's not racist to say brown people, by the way. They don't give a shit. See, this we have to. This is part of the issue too. So I have to clear this up for the young generation. There's a bunch of retards out there that go to public schools and get all woke and shit. Let me just throw this out there, okay? To call people black, white, brown, orange, it's an identifier. Okay. Period. I'm white. I'm a white. I am the whitest I am the whitest motherfucker in the room. I can do martial arts all day, but I could never I got 2 left feet when it came to dancing, okay? There you go. I am as white as they fucking come. All right? So let's get that out of the way. Okay? I will talk about myself as being white all day long. I don't give a shit. I don't have any holdups on this, and you shouldn't either. If you're black, you're brown, it's an identifier. Okay? These things, regardless of whether you want to accept them or not, we have a culture based on race. It's just happened. Okay? And yeah, it happened out of pride of not wanting to be this way or that way and stuff like that. But, it doesn't matter. Regardless, there's still a culture behind whites, blacks, brown, whatever you want to call it. Okay? That's not racist to identify that. It's okay. Racism, the whole point is you're bullying somebody. If you use the concept of using the color of their skin to demean them, to say they're less than you, to put them in concentration camps, okay? That is racist. Actually lowering them. That's racist. Not just identifying, oh, that guy's got some pretty brown fucking skin. Yeah. Who cares? So shut the fuck up. All right? You're the racist one. If you do this and you're casting a person as being racist because they're identifying a color of skin, you're actually racist. Because you're trying to take your race and victimize it. You're trying to be a victim out of this thing that doesn't exist. You are racist against the white person saying it or whoever's saying it. Okay? Maybe it's even your own kind that you're racist against. But either way, you're still bullying that person They just used an identifier. So, first responders are going to do this, okay? If they want to identify a cop or EMS, whatever, wants to identify somebody as white, black, brown, Mexican, this is not racist. It's an identifier. Okay? It helps them figure out what somebody looks like. That's all. Okay? Do you think Barack Obama wants me to go around and be like, "Hey, that guy's white"? No. No. No, he's fine with being a black man. Okay? You need to kill this thing. There's this, I mean, like, quite frankly, again, people really, really hate this when I call it out, but you only hate it because it points out what we used to do to get over this. The sketch on SNL with Richard Pryor from a while ago, wasn't that was that it was Chevy Chase, wasn't it? I want to say it was Chevy Chase. I think I said that before. I just know it was Richard Pryor for sure. And they were just going back and forth. Because I love Richard Pryor, so that's why I understand. And they were just going back and forth. And it was racist stuff. And he literally called him the N-word right on TV. Right on TV. Just said the N-word, just called him that. And everybody laughed. Everybody thought it was funny. Like, you couldn't handle it. You couldn't handle it. You'd be like, ah, my ears, my feelings. Bah! This is the issue. All right? The people that want to tell racist jokes can't do it anymore. So they just become racist. It's that simple. You are not allowing them their freedoms. So again, I speak for both sides. Okay? Truthfully, I am right there in the middle. But God damn it, Donald Trump is not. That motherfucker is a piece of shit that does not speak for free speech at all. He wants to cancel it. He wants to decide what is said and heard. And if you don't believe me, well, just follow the Jimmy Kimmel story where he blatantly tried to get that guy taken off the air. Blatantly. And he's done it to fucking Stephen Colbert already. And that's not right. And not only that, Colbert at the top of his ratings. We all love the guy. Everybody loves that guy. There is nobody that dislikes Stephen Colbert. Nobody. How do you not like somebody that's literally just made you laugh? He literally is just being entertaining and saying funny things. He's a comedian. That's what he does. He also spent time writing for SNL way back in the day, but you don't know that because it wasn't really credited that well. That was Bob Odenkirk, right? Bob Odenkirk, and Steve Carell, right? I know it was mainly Odenkirk and Steve Carell, right? But I think he was there, wasn't he? Maybe. I just know, again, he was on The Daily Show, and I loved what he always did. I mean, like, he was always so great on that, okay? He earned his way up through. And this guy gave it to Congress in character without even breaking fucking Character. I could have been laughing my ass off. And he just did it. He did not break character. He did it in character for the Daily Show. Remember that very stern face he would always have. And do you see that now? No, the guy's all smiley and stuff. I can't believe how good he was at that role. I really can't. Like, the guy's actually a pretty good actor. I really can't believe how fucking good he was at that role. So he earned that. Got that fucking late show position and nailed it every damn night. He deserved the Ed Sullivan Theater. Nobody else deserves to have that. We don't want anybody else to have it. You don't even all remember who Ed Sullivan was. Ed Sullivan classically brought on all these musicians and just had a brilliant theater. People always loved the show. It was just classically some of the best music, live music you've ever seen. And Colbert brought that too. He remembered this is what came before. So we're going to also have epic music performances in the Ed Sullivan Theater. We're not going to stop this. We're going to continue doing this. And he fucking nailed it. He did it every night. And he went out with that too. Top ratings, top of his game. He continued nailing that and did justice for the Ed Sullivan Theater. Because Ed Sullivan, again, deserves to be remembered. People don't even know who that guy is anymore. So I appreciate him for that greatly. You don't know who Ed Sullivan is. Very, very, very. The Beatles know who he is. Paul knows who he is. Quite frankly, some of the most iconic Beatles performances were the black and white. No, remember the black and white where they're all right there? That was Ed Sullivan. Yeah. Yeah. Music video quality live performances. Even back then. People can't do that now. People can't even do that now. And they got the audio right back then with all that feedback, all that non-digital. Everything's tubes. Holy shit. That's what you should think when you think Stephen Colbert and the Ed Sullivan Theater. You should think, holy shit. Yeah, you're right. He deserves that. Nobody else is going to do it like that. They're going to sit there and they're going to try to copy that. But they're not going to do it. And that's why. Because he wasn't trying to copy it. He was doing it his own way. But still nailing it in the traditional way that was justifiable to what the original idea of the Ed Sullivan Theater was. That original, again, his own way, but keeping that live music alive, for the people in the area that have always enjoyed that type of show, the generations that would go there and pass it on down. Great show. Ed Sullivan Theater, doesn't matter. Stephen Colbert, Ed Sullivan, doesn't matter. Good show. And now, no. Just because the stupid orange piece of fucking shit in charge doesn't like the guy. Shouldn't matter. President doesn't like somebody, they should mind their own fucking business and run the country. Okay? How about actually doing something for once, Donald jackass piece of shit orange face Trump? All you've done is cost us shitloads of money, start a new war, put us in a terrible trade situation, shit fucking economy, and now you've added $3 trillion to the deficit. Why don't you just bring up the national debt clock? Should we bring up the national debt clock and show you just how bad it is? I bet a lot of you don't even realize you can do that. You know, you can bring up the national debt clock. Now remember, it's important to remember what the GDP is doing. So if the GDP is positive, it means it's adding to it. It means good, but probably not. And we still have a huge deficit. So it would take so long and a lot of budgeting, which is not what we're doing. He didn't even do infrastructure. He had no infrastructure, which is why police are struggling for funds, because that's infrastructure. Every president does it. He didn't do it. Literally just did nothing. He wants his ballroom, though. He has to have a goddamn UFC event right at the White House, though. Very expensive, by the way. Yet he doesn't have passed an infrastructure bill. Again, want to remind you, that's for your roads, your police, all this stuff. That is your federal funding for what you need. That is where that's coming from. That's infrastructure. Where the feds would come in and do this, so the state doesn't have to. Make sense? All right. So these things that, again, you pay taxes for the feds to do versus your state, there's a reason for that. Okay. So why didn't he pass infrastructure? Why did he just do nothing? All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, also, really quickly, the Obama Presidential Center, it's open. Go watch the opening ceremony. I watched it. Obama's speech was amazing. And remember, all the past presidents are all getting together, even George W., and agreeing that this guy is a piece of trash, and trying to remind you that, look, it worked before. All these guys are coming together to remind you of what a piece of trash this guy is. And all you got to do is listen to him talk. And they're old as shit. And they can form more cohesive, coherent fucking sentences than that orange jackass that's propped up on his fucking chair and what? Oh, there's a meeting? Huh? What? Oh, that's right. Oh, there's this very expensive UFC event that I was supposed to pose for a picture for next to the guy that runs the UFC. Oh, I guess I better not fall asleep. Anyway, see you guys.